Hi, welcome to week 4 of Language and Literacy. This week's topic is all about using science to enhance literacy and to encourage literacy and to facilitate literacy. So right now, during the fall, the salmon are running. So science is studying salmon. That's what we've been doing for the past week. And we'll continue it this week as well. So I'll show you some of the ways that we use salmon as a means of facilitating literacy. So here are these cards I made. They are all about the life cycle of a salmon. And I got the pictures off the internet and I made the parts that I read are on the back so that I don't have to make children wait to see the pictures. And I just tell the story. But I also use some props to do it with too. So I'll show you. I have a tray with gravel, and I have plants because they need plants, and I have a little salmon here, and here's another salmon. And then I also have these great puppets or stuffed animals. I guess they're not really puppets. So here's a female salmon and here's a male salmon spawning. And when they go up the river, the males turn red, and they're so beautiful and bright, and the children love to see them. So those are the props that I use when I tell my story. I can't really do it while holding the cards while also trying to tilt the computer. So I'll do my best, and I'll give you kind of a little reenactment of what we do here in the classroom. Okay, boys and girls, I want to tell you a story about salmon. Right now, the salmon are all spawning. They're coming back to our rivers and streams, and they are finding where they were born, and they're laying their eggs so that we can have a whole new group of salmon be born and inhabit our world. So I'm going to tell you about how they do that. So the first thing I want to show you is these eggs. Look at these beautiful eggs. They look like they have little spots in them. Those will become the salmon eye. Isn't that cool? They look like eyeballs already. So I'm going to tell you the story, and I have all the words written on the back. And if you want to take these out, you can during work time, and you can read all about the life cycle of a salmon. And they're even numbered, so you can tell which one comes next. This is card number 1, and it says egg. In the autumn, a female fish laid this nest of eggs in a stream. This nest is called a redd. Some of the eggs have new fish growing in them. There's number 1. Here is a redd. And the female fish found some good gravel and swished with her tail and laid her eggs. And then the male, I wish I could have found one that was red, comes along and fertilizes the eggs. He spreads his milk all over the eggs so that they can become fertilized. And we need lots of trees and plants to hold the trees in and to cover the stream or the river so that it stays nice and cold. We need lots and lots of shade and shelter. Here comes number 2. Number 2, alevin. This fish, called an alevin, has just hatched from its egg. The egg yolk is still joined to its stomach. It will provide food for the alevin. See, when it first is born, the egg yolk is really big, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Fry. By springtime, the young fish is a fry. His stored food is almost gone, so he has to swim in the fresh water of the stream looking for insects and plankton to eat. That's the fry. Number 4. Millions of salmon fry live in the cold mountain stream. Many are eaten by birds and other fish, but many others live there for several years. They might live there for years. That's amazing. Fingerlings. The young salmon are now as big as a human finger. See? They are called fingerlings. Another name for them is parr. They leave the stream and start the long journey to the sea to find new food and grow into adults. Smolt. Now the salmon is a smolt. The salmon swims north to the cold sea near Alaska. He finds many new things to eat. He eats plenty of food and grows bigger and stronger. As smolts, salmon begin their transition from freshwater to saltwater by spending a period of time in estuaries, where they are exposed to a mix of waters termed brackish. At this stage, salmon are still vulnerable like fry and have a similar appearance. Smolts use their vertical striping called parr marks to their advantage as camouflage. So they have kind of stripes. It looks like tigers, but they're gray. And they can be camouflaged in the ocean or in the rivers. Isn't that smart? So the word brackish, did you hear me say brackish? Brackish means when water is mixed with salt water and fresh water. Together they make a water that is brackish. That's what brackish means. The trip is dangerous. The smolt swim under logs and around boats. Their bodies change to get ready for the salty sea. Many die on the way. That's just what happens. There are new dangers waiting for the salmon in the sea. This seal has just caught a small fish to eat. Seal loves salmon. People can also be a danger to the salmon. This boat catches fish in its nets. The fish will be sold and eaten. We just had a salmon feast at our school. Salmon are delicious. The salmon is swimming far out into the deep ocean water. He feeds on shrimp, squid, small fish, and sea animals. Other sea animals, like the seal, try to catch and eat salmon. This salmon is lucky. None of the hungry animals caught him. He got away. That seal doesn't have a salmon in his mouth. The salmon is now fully grown. He finds his way back to the river he left several years before. He begins the hard journey back upstream. He's having to go up. So the water's coming down, but he's going up. That's a lot of work. Many other salmon are swimming up the river too. They are now ready to spawn. As the salmon swim upstream, their skin becomes bright red and their teeth grow sharp and pointed. I like this picture. The salmon are in a hurry. They do not eat on their way, but this hungry bear is about to eat one of them. It's practically jumping right into his mouth, isn't he? The salmon need to be strong because the water keeps pushing him back. He uses his tail to help him leap over rocks and waterfalls. That's a strong tail. The male fish have sharp black snouts. The females are fat with eggs. They are ready to spawn. The female uses her tail to dig a nest in the gravel on the bed of the stream. She lets thousands of eggs fall from her body into the nest. Wow, look at all those eggs just dropping right out of her. That's amazing. The male swims after her and fertilizes the eggs. The female uses her tail to cover the nest with more gravel. They may make many nests. That's good because we need more salmon. Journey's end. The salmon are tired and weak after their long, difficult swim up the river. It is easy for this bald eagle and other animals to catch them. The salmon die soon after their eggs are laid. In 10 weeks' time, the eggs will hatch. Thousands of new, tiny salmon will swim in the stream. Now, after they've learned about salmon for a couple of weeks, we go on a salmon walk. We watch the salmon swimming up Cedar River. And we start at the Renton Library, and we walk down. We pass about 2 bridges, and then we cross the bridge, and then we walk back up. This year, we will be doing the field trip on a Saturday since the library is not open and we don't have bathrooms available to us. So we will be just parent-led. It's always parent-led, but I don't want to be responsible for children during COVID-19 during a field trip and having to make sure that they have food and restrooms. So this is something that we're doing as a optional field trip. It's just going to be a fun one. But it's very exciting after the children have been learning all about salmon and to see them for real. So this is one of our ways that we introduce the life cycle. And I will show you 2 more ways. All right.